Hey guys, this is Kristen Laurie, and welcome back to my channel. I just uploaded a previous video because my son is actually distracted by something. So, as moms out there may know, yes, baby, you use these opportunities as time to do what you have to do when the kids are distracted. And that's what I'm doing. So, first of all, thank God for another day. Give God the glory for life, for being alive, for being healthy, for being healed. And for those of you who may not be right now, it's okay. God can fix that for you. God can do it all for you. You'll get better. You'll feel better. God's intentional. He has a plan for every one of us. So you'll be better. You'll feel better. So with this video, I just kind of wanted to just answer some questions about myself. Ministry. So how does ministry work? For those of you who are avid believers, you know that you don't necessarily choose ministry. Ministry chooses you. God calls you. Yes, sweetheart. You can decide to answer the call. But again, God has to call you. And that is to be a prophet, that is to be, an apostle, a preacher, a teacher, an evangelist. God has to call you. It's not just something you wake up and say, I want to do it, even though a lot of people do that. I necessarily wouldn't be playing around with this. Not that I am, but I wouldn't be partaking in this journey if I wasn't called, because it's not an easy journey or an easy process. And for those of you who have been in ministry and who truly sacrifice and who are truly living a righteous life, not saying perfect, but you do your best to get back up and you repent, you try to live life the way we should live it, you know that this is not easy. You know that this thing is a struggle. So I just wanted to put out there that, this is not something I'm doing because I woke up and said, I want to be in ministry. No, God pretty much put to me through a particular pastor sermon, because that's how he works. You could be there in person. It could be a word. A prophet could give you a word, or there could be a sermon. A pastor or a preacher could be preaching it, and then you have this aha moment. And this particular pastor did this sermon called Will You Answer the Call? And after that sermon, I started having dreams. I started having vivid dreams, and things started happening from there. And I ultimately said yes. And here we are a year later. And I'm now being released. I'm now with an alignment with God, and I'm in my purpose. I'm, doing what I know and feel He's wanting me to do. And I'll get into that more in a different video. But, my goal with this video was basically just to kind of give some backdrop on me, kind of, answer some questions. Like I said, ministry, I didn't choose it. You don't choose it, it chooses you. You then have the right to say, okay, I'm going to partake in this. But ultimately, God calls you. What do I love about ministry? What I love about ministry is being able to, first of all, serve God. We always have to give God the glory. But secondly, helping people, helping other believers, helping other people who aren't even sure if they're believers, but they feel something. They have a connection to God or something, but they're not sure what it is or how to get to it further. I love being the bridge. I love being the bridge that connects the believer to God. I love helping people. I love serving. In one of my previous videos, I talked about serving the elderly. Serving keeps you humble. It keeps me humble. So that's why I love ministry, because first and foremost, the relationship with God has to be authentic. It has to be authentic in order for your ministry to be authentic. And then secondly, you have to love people. You can't be in ministry and you have a stank attitude. there have been many times when I've gone to church functions and conferences and things like that, and people had attitudes. No, we are representing God, so we can't have a stink attitude. When you're at the door and you're collecting money for tickets, or you're passing, you're serving food, you cannot have an attitude. So I think a lot of people tend to forget that. But yes, you have to have a love for God. You have to have a love for people. So that is why I love ministry. What are my thoughts on Christianity today? Christianity today, I feel like, is very watered down. I feel like man has pretty much thrown his tradition on what he believes, what Christianity should be, and religion is just religion is like, it's so, I don't even, what is the word? Systematic. Like, you get up every week and you go to church every Sunday. You're just doing the same thing every week, every month, every year, but you're not growing. You're not changing. You're not being fruitful. And I think a lot of people should really look at that. Like, I'm not saying that, numbers mean everything, but numbers are important. If you're, at a church and you've only got, 4 members, I feel like, that should say something, because God is about getting as many people as possible, saving as many people as possible. And I know we all only have a small network. I think I heard a study where it's like there are X amount of people that we're supposed to reach in our lifetime. Maybe 200 people or something, 300 people, I don't know, something like that, where we're all connected. In our lifetime, there'll be a certain amount of people that we'll bump into and have some impact on. So, of course, I'm not saying, God may just have a specific purpose for that specific church, or ministry, to maybe reach out to only 4 people. But I personally feel like a lot of times when we're stuck in our ways, and we don't want to let God come in and take precedent over our ministry, over our church, you're not going to be fruitful. God is not, especially if you're someone who's very, you're very devout, and you're very good at pastoring and teaching, and God, I'm sure, wants to unleash you to get as many believers as possible, because in this world today there aren't too many true Christians. So I feel like we have to think about that. We have to stop being so stubborn. We have to stop being so stuck on the traditions of man, and we really have to think about, okay, God, what are you trying to tell me? If I'm not seeing any fruit, if I keep running into the same obstacles over and over again with my ministry, with my church, what do I have to change? So let me be very transparent here. I'm not trying to put anybody down. I'm not trying to put any church down. I'm not trying to put any ministry down. I'm a lover of all things. I'm a lover of people, again. But it's the truth. I think truth serum is very important, and I just feel like we fool ourselves. We trick ourselves into thinking we know God. We know the way. Our way is the best way. But look at your fruit. If you're only preaching to 4 people, if you keep going through the same obstacles every year, clearly there's something God is trying to tell you. I need you to change this. And sometimes, like I said, we and that's where the fivefold ministry comes in. That's where prophets come in. That's why we still need the prophetic. We still need prophets, because they are the ones that are there to equip the church. They are there to say, listen, this is what needs to be done. This is what God is revealing to me to tell you. And a lot of times churches, we shun away the prophets. We shun away the gifts in the fivefold ministry. It's like we fear it. So we could pump out, sow a seed for your need, just like that, but we can't fully engage in every aspect of the Bible, which is fivefold ministry is still as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. So, I feel like, there are a lot of things that we as a church, we need to work on. We need to work on. But I went off on a little tangent, but that was a little backdrop. I'm keeping my videos like 10, no more than like 10 minutes. So that was some backdrop on me. I'll post some more. But thank you, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed day. Bye.